Hi there, everybody. My name is Soul, and today I'm going to be talking about Boba Fett. I am definitely late to the party on this one, and for good reason. I'm going to say it off the bat. Boba Fett is mid, or at least it's mid in comparison to The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian was the first Disney Star Wars show, and it kind of set the bar pretty high from the beginning. I love Mandalorian, and once they announced Boba Fett, Obi-Wan show, I was like, okay, maybe this will be the Star Wars renaissance of actually good content that we needed. This will be the shot in the arm for Star Wars. And then I turn on Boba Fett for the first time, and several episodes in, and I am snoozing. And they really do the character of Boba Fett dirty in the show, because Boba Fett was a simple character. He was a bounty hunter working for the bad guy, and he had a kick-ass outfit, and he just had like a demeanor to him. He's not saying shit. Sure, he got killed off with very little fanfare, but you know what? Boba Fett was awesome. Everyone loved Boba Fett. And immediately this show is like, hey, let's give him the proper backstory. We will finally know. And the prequels gave him a backstory, and it was interesting enough, but again, we really had the potential to grow the actual personality beneath this guy. And sure, he's a stoic badass, but the Mandalorian is kind of a stoic badass, and I love that guy. And the show, instead of deciding, hey, let's make that character that we had for so long, instead of finally committing to that, they're like, let's make him a good guy for no reason, and then the Mandalorian can take over the show for the rest of its running. It's like they had it's like they had two alternate timelines, and they saw one where this show was gonna suck, so they're like, let's just get Mando in here. It's important again. Okay, people will watch it regardless now. Here's our millions of dollars. Pretty much any scene with Boba Fett in it, I don't actually feel like I'm watching Boba Fett, not only because, again, they swerve his personality immediately. He, immediately after he gets out of the Sarlacc pit, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go on a spiritual journey. The people of Tatooine are my allies and friends, and I'm here to protect them now. I'm gonna be what Jabba the Hutt could never be, a good warlord of... What does that have to do with a Boba Fett? Not to mention, he's a very methodical guy now. He's a little more slow. He has to catch his bearings a little bit more. His mannerisms and his demeanor, not to mention his age and all that, does not feel like Boba Fett. And I'm saying that as a very casual fan of the character. If you're going to explore a character by giving them an entire mini-series, commit to that. And for the love of God, just make him a bounty hunter again. The Mandalorian was not an actual bounty hunter show because they had to do something with that character revolving a very popular piece of merchandise. So why not go back to the bounty hunter show? Even if just for the sake of getting us off Tatooine. I hate Tatooine. Do you know how many Star Wars properties inevitably go back to Tatooine? The whole point of Tatooine is it's just another bumfuck planet, but when you keep coming back to there, it feels like one of the most important planets in the cosmos, and this is supposed to be the backwoods of the galaxy. And not to mention, after seeing Dune, after seeing the other 1,000 Star Wars properties, the desert's boring. I don't want to be in the desert anymore. I'm not trying to say there's nothing good about this show. I'm gonna give it a positive score technically, so I don't want to like dismiss everything good it has. I'm getting everything bad off, getting it out of the way. The good things about Boba Fett, the action is actually pretty good. Again, Star Wars money. You have the people, the manpower, and the ability to make good action shots. And especially the final battle, which this entire show is basically hyping up for this final battle. And they actually deliver. The final battle is hype. There's a moment where I cheered. And there's a lot of other good side characters. Boba Fett's sidekick, his little badass Asian bodyguard. She's awesome. She's potentially my favorite character in the show. Except for the Mandalorian. And yes, sure, hijacking the show, taking it away from the character it's actually about. Does that hurt the character? Yes. Should they have done that? I don't know. But those episodes were the most interesting to me. I know it's a little bit sad, but when we're focusing on Boba Fett, we're just talking. It's trade negotiations all over again. And yes, I know people in the galaxy gotta have wars. You have to have wars through the stars about something, trade negotiations, all that shit. Yeah, that's a good excuse to have those things. But it just feels so boring after a while. And every time we cut to Mando, we have dark sabers, we have artificially generated Luke Skywalkers, we have little baby Yodas running around using the Force. Those are things we can talk about. Those are things that survive in the online discourse of what these shows are created for. That's why we have weekly episodes and we have things to talk about. When the Mandalorian episode came out, that was like the most socially relevant this show was. And I'm not saying that is on the same scale as quality, but I'm saying that was interesting. And the original episodes were not at all. I did not care about the majority of things going on. That being said, though, 1/3 of this show belongs to The Mandalorian, and that was great. I'm sorry. I think it's a little... There were things I could complain about in there, but that was much more interesting than the rest of the show, and honestly is the only reason that I'm giving Boba Fett a 7 out of 10. Again, a lot of cool side characters here and there, but the majority of the show is just very boring. His new backstory and gimmick doesn't really feel necessary. He doesn't need to be a good guy, but that's exactly what he is because we have to make him one of these iconic characters that will stand the test of time. Unfortunately, I feel like it hurts the show more than it benefits, but that is just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on Boba Fett down below. As for me, I'm going to go a little bit more hesitant into the next Star Wars TV show, but The Mandalorian Season 3 will probably be great, so there's that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, with that, I leave you.